It's Musical Peoples and Journeys. It's the new rock album review show. Welcome to rock fans all around the world. Hey, everybody, welcome to my wonderful panel, to Ian, to Dave, and to Paul today. Before you start, hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment when you agree or disagree. We're reviewing all the latest rock albums. Today, we are reviewing Mark Knopfler and his new album, One Deep River. And then we're going to rate it out of 5, but you won't know what we've rated because we're going to have an album of the month show when it hits our albums of the month. Let's start with, because I do like to finish with positivity. So I'm going to start with you, Paul. Bit of Mark Knopfler then, with One River Deep. What did you think?
Well, for me, Knopfler is one of UK's most underrated guitarists with his rhythm style of guitar music. Although he will be most remembered for his Dire Straits days with hits like Money for Nothing. His solo albums have been popular. If you have an album where Knopfler is going to rip it up with his guitar, then you're going to be sadly disappointed. The One Deep River album starts lively with two pairs of hands and ahead of the game. But by the time we get to Black Tie Jobs, the energy seems to have been sucked out. And on some of the slower songs, so does Knopfler's voice falter, and it seems to fall back on the Dire Straits song type. The album signs off with One Deep River, which is a lovely emotive song. I just wish there had been another 6 or 7 songs as strong as it.
Yeah, I didn't do an introduction because I just assumed that people knew who Mark Knopfler was. If you didn't, obviously hails from obviously Dire Straits days, which is amazing. Dave, what do you second? Yep. Mark Knopfler, One Deep River, should it be thrown in the river, or are we in Dire Straits?
I am a massive fan of Dire Straits and Mark Knopfler's guitar playing in particular. I could give this album 2 separate reviews because based on his guitar playing, I mean, yes, you haven't got some of the, him ripping it up on guitar, as Paul said, but the tone is still there, and that's something that I love about his guitar playing because, he doesn't use a pick, he finger picks, and they say the tone in most guitar players comes from their hands, and most players it will just be the fretting hand. But with him, it seems to be a combination of the two. And the tone that he creates, if I could nick anyone's guitar tone, it would be Mark Knopfler. It's unbelievable. But as far as the album, I can understand why a lot of people probably wouldn't like it. Because if you're expecting Dire Straits, this really isn't sort of it. There isn't any standout tracks on the album. There's nothing in the album that would... you could go, oh, that would be a single, that's a hit song. I don't think there's anything on here that I would put on a playlist. But as far as just, audibly, something that I really just enjoyed the tone of his guitar playing and just the tone of the songs in general, it's just something that just, took me to my happy place.
You have a happy place, Dave?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes, just outside Kent.
Yeah. Bangers and mash.
Don't you mean it's bangers and mash? Having bangers and mash in Kent listening to this podcast. That's his happy place.
Yeah.
Ian, fan? Not a fan? Mark Knopfler?
So, back in the day, I remember a mate of mine sitting me down and getting me to listen to the whole Brothers in Arms album, which is where Money for Nothing, Walk of Life, big songs come from. There's songs like Romeo and Juliet and Telegraph Road. Telegraph Road, wasn't it? Yeah. Which really do showcase his talent. And this is an album that you're not going to play it for a standout track, like Dave was saying. It's not one of those albums. This is an album that you get your favourite drink, mate. It could be whiskey, could be brandy, could be a really nice glass of wine. For me, it's a nice double espresso, glass of water, sitting there, got my headphones on, and I am absolutely just letting myself being washed over with he's arguably one of the best guitarists of our generation, I would say. There's a lot of competitors for that. Well, there's like Eric Clapton and Hendrix, but I would say that he's right up there. I mean, I don't know if they still use it, but his track "Going Home," Newcastle come out playing to that, or they did. I think that is just brilliant. I can't remember what film that was from, but it was a brilliant track. And this is just headphones, favourite drink. Just listen. No standout tracks. You listen to this album for its entirety. If you're doing a long drive, oh my God, this one helps you get through as well. It was just... this is going to be once every few years. You just put it on and you lose yourself in it. It's an absolute. You choose this track to listen to and you put it on. It's not your thing. Fair enough. Totally get it. But this was just quality at its best. Definitely.
You say you just drove up to Scotland. If I had this when I was driving up to Scotland, I think I'd be asleep by Watford. Quite frankly, I think I'd be fast asleep at the wheel. I wouldn't make it if I had this on driving to Scotland. Look, when I narrowed down 60 albums to one, and Mike Knopfler was going, "Oh God's sake, really?" You know, because we have a lot of problems with some of the older bands, and we put them on there for nostalgic purposes, and it's quite disappointing. And I put Two Pairs of Hands on, and the guitar playing on that opening track was nothing short of fantastic, and it was very upbeat, and vocally it was okay, yeah, that's Mark Knopfler on, absolutely on, not a problem. And then you got Ahead Again, Smart Money, and for the album, the favourite album, the favourite track and the best album on the track, there is a standout, which is Scavenger's Yard. You're going, great. And then after that, it really gets absolutely dire. The rest of this album should be literally thrown in the deepest river that you can possibly imagine. Musically, superb. Musically, off the charts. Guitar playing, phenomenal. Lyrically, incredibly dodgy. Some of the lyrics, you're going, what the honestly? I think it was Tunnel 13, and some people realised, and it was just like, I had a blanket, a razor from my head. It was so appallingly bad. And vocally, after Scavenger's Yard, was certainly when it slowed down, was incredibly hard work. It was hard work, and this is hard for me because I think musically it's guy. We're reviewing Slash next month, and he's one of the greatest guitarists of the generation, and he's done lots of collaboration with people that can sing. And I think Knopfler, if he can do that, and other brilliant musicians, brilliant guitarists, do the same thing. Paul, do you know that this man composed music for several films, Hollywood films in the 80s? And do you know, Paul, which film he composed the music for? The Princess Bride.
Top of my head.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, right.
The Princess Bride, right. Paul. Our all-time favourite film. Knopfler composed the music for Princess Bride, which is one of my all-time favourite films. So he's getting an extra half a mark from me because of that.
After listening to this album, inconceivable.
Inconceivable! He must have been doing it left-handed. Anyway, it just... There are aspects of this album that are just brilliant, and there are a lot. But as I said, vocally, I really struggle with it. I can understand it, if you're a Knopfler fan and you just want to immerse yourself into his music, but musically, outstanding, and I absolutely agree. As a guitarist, I think the guy is an absolute genius, and there's a music and the composition of the music of this album is nothing short of brilliant. Anyway, do you?
To be fair, you said about vocals. When I talk about quality's finest, I definitely was referring to his guitar playing more than the vocals, because some of the vocals, thinking about the Princess Bride, you would say, I don't think this word means what you think it means.
Yeah. If there is anybody listening to this that has never heard of Dire Straits or Mark Knopfler before, do yourself a favour and listen to Sultans of Swing.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Well,
Yeah.
it's very interesting, isn't it? Somebody on the comments said, like, we should, can we once a month review an album, a classic album, and see what we kind of think. And I'll do a poll amongst you all to see whether that's something that we should do, to review a classic album, and to kind of bring it to the front. But equally, I don't want to be slated if we hated it. Anyway. What do you guys think out there? After you've hit the like button, after you've hit the subscribe button, why don't you leave a comment and tell us what you think of Mark Knopfler and his latest album? And please don't be too high, because we only give ratings of what we enjoy, and how much we personally enjoyed it at the moment in time. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to my panel, to Paul, to Dave, and to Ian. Thank you also to Trish and to Chris, who have voted. And will Mark Knopfler, very much divided, will he get into our album of the month? And will he win that? We'll find out in our album of the month show, which will be coming up at the end of the 8 album reviews. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.